The Dutch imported tea into England early in the 17th century, but tea was not much appreciated. Diarist Samuel Pepys made the first mention of drinking a cup of tea, spelled Tee, in 1660, but no more tea entries until claiming his wife was prescribed tea in 1666 as a cure for a cold. Coffee houses were Pepys' favorite teetotaler indulgence. Charles II's new wife, Catherine, brought a chest of tea and the drinking habit to the British royal court in 1662. When tea drinking was established, the English East India Company started importing tea and later growing it in India. Plantation production meant lower prices and increasing demand by the middle and lower classes. The caffeine and medicinal benefits didn't hurt. The Crooked House of Windsor, not the royal family, seemed to be the first tea house, opened in 1687. It was rebuilt and still stands at a substantial slant. Granted, coffee houses sold tea earlier, but that's hardly the same. When tea was expensive and heavily taxed, costly tea had a limited following. Rising supply and lower taxes led to greater demand and vice versa. The results were more tea houses, tea shops, and tea gardens, and the temperance movement as a motivator. Given the concern for working class tavern consumption, tea rooms were billed as a healthy alternative. The first ABC tea shops opened in 1864 with tea rooms available for customers of any class. Other tea rooms were opened strictly for women. The Chinese preferred their green tea neat, that is, with nothing else. Europeans demanded some combination of sugar, milk, lemon, or other spices. But which ones caught on? The easy answer is all of them, but there was a history. Sugar was probably the first, as granulated sugar became increasingly common. Milk reduced the temperature of the tea, better for the teacups used and to drink. Both became common in the 18th century, beginning with the elites who could afford it. Adding lemon to tea seemed to be a Chinese idea adapted by Russians, then spread west. It added a unique taste and a bit of nutrition. The Russians commonly added vodka, which was not adopted by Western Europe. China and Japan had complex tea ceremonies. Zen monks developed complex ceremonial rules. Mongols drank tea with horse's milk and barley flour. Tibetan tea was salted and buttered. That would be yak butter. North Africans liked green tea with sugar and mint. The Industrial Revolution brought the factory system to Britain, where a large unskilled workforce labored long hours at repetitive jobs. One of the few pleasures was tea breaks, which provided caffeine and added concentration. Conveniently, the price of tea came down in the 19th century as the factory system was growing. The rate of dysentery in England dropped, likely because of the antibacterial properties of tea. Tea was on the way as the national drink. Anna Marie Russell, the Duchess of Bedford, invented afternoon tea around 1840. Thanks to gas lighting, the evening meal was served later, especially for the upper crust, meaning afternoon munchies became a necessity for this particular aristocrat. The Duchess asked for an afternoon tray of tea, bread, and butter, and cakes brought to a room, then began inviting friends. The habit expanded to the finest restaurants, including small sandwiches, clotted cream, and preserves. The tradition lives on. One of the Industrial Revolution success stories was potter Josiah Wedgwood, an early adapter of steam power and mass production in the late 18th century. As demand for afternoon tea became ceremonial, the demand for tea services increased. After Queen Charlotte ordered a complete tea set, Wedgwood started producing queensware. He maintained a continued fame as potter to royalty. English merchants bought tea from Chinese merchants. However, the Chinese did not want British manufactured goods and insisted on silver. The less than honorable solution was selling opium to China for silver and using the silver to buy tea. When China attempted to stop the opium trade, the result was the Opium War of 1839 to 42, which was a humiliating loss to China. The British took Hong Kong, and Chinese ports were open to European trade. The tea tax started in China. Tea had to sail the Atlantic to America as a revolutionary taxing idea, resulting in a tea party in Boston. Next time on Food History and Mystery.